Let's listen to the audiobook The Big Four by Agatha Christie, Level A2, Oxford Reading University. Part 1.
After a year and a half in Argentina, I was finally coming back home. I planned to stay in England for a few months because I wanted to visit some of my old friends. One of them was a funny man with clear green eyes and a thick black mustache. His name was Hercule Poirot. He was a very successful consulting detective. As soon as my ship arrived at the port, I went to visit my friend. Just as I expected, he was very excited to see me. We shared the latest news and talked about our life and work. "My dear Hastings, I must tell you that I am going to Rio de Janeiro in the evening," Poirot said. "I really wish I could stay here with you, but I must travel for work. Let me tell you how it all happened." We sat down together and he began. "Recently, Mr. Abe Ryland contacted me. Certainly you know him. He is the richest man in the world. Something strange is happening in his big company in Rio. He wants me to come and investigate it. I don't want to leave England now, but he offered me so much money that I just couldn't say no." "But why do you want to stay?" I asked. "Recently, I've started my own investigation," he explained. "Tell me, have you ever heard of a group called the Big Four? I think they are a gang of international criminals, or something even more dangerous. Anyway, I must hurry. Only a matter of life and death can stop me now." Suddenly, we heard a strange noise. Then the door opened, and we saw a man. He looked very tired, and his clothes were all dirty. "Mr. Hercule Poirot, 14 Fairway Street," he said, and fell to the floor. "Call a doctor, please," Poirot asked me. Fortunately, the doctor arrived very soon. He examined the strange man and finally said, "Clearly he is in a state of shock. Although he can't speak now, he can still tell us something. Let's give him a piece of paper and a pen and see what he will do." We did as the doctor told us. The man looked at the pen for some time. Then he drew a big number 4 with his shaking hand. "Interesting," the doctor said. "I think you can leave him here for some time. I'm pretty sure he'll sleep for 8 hours or more, and I'll come to check on him later." Then the doctor left. Suddenly, our strange guest turned to us and said clearly, "Li Changyen." Poirot made a sign for me to keep quiet, and we listened. The man went on. "Li Changyen is the brains of the Big Four. He controls everything they do. I call him number 1. He's the man behind all the revolutions and political unrest in the world. Nobody calls number 2 by his name. They usually mark him with the sign of a dollar or 2 lines and a star. I think he is American and represents the power of money. Number 3 is certainly a French woman. And number 4? He stopped for a moment. His face turned white. Number 4 is the destroyer. With these words, he fell back on the floor. We moved the man to Poirot's bedroom and left. I took my friend to the train station, and we boarded the train to Southampton together. At one point, a red light appeared in the distance, and the train stopped. "Of course," Poirot shouted. "I understand it now." With these words, he opened the door of our carriage. "What are you doing?" I asked in great surprise. "We need to go back," my friend shouted, and jumped out on the tracks. I threw out our suitcases and followed him. As soon as I landed on the ground, the train moved on. "I really hope you can explain all this to me," I told him. "My friend, I just saw the light," he replied. "But I haven't," I cried. "Let's go," he said, and picked up one suitcase. "I hope that we are not too late." 2. Soon, we were back in London. "My friend, can't you see?" Poirot asked me on our way back to the apartment. "They wanted to get me out of the way." "What? Who?" I asked in surprise. "The Big Four. They have planned it all out so carefully. I really hope we have come back in time." "Do you think our visitor is in danger?" I asked. "I'm certain of it," he replied. We entered the apartment, and Poirot went to check on the strange man. He was still lying in Poirot's bed. My dear Hastings, Poirot said in an excited voice, he is dead. I called for a doctor immediately. He examined the body, but couldn't name the cause of death. Please call Inspector Japp of Scotland Yard, Poirot asked me. Soon after the doctor left, another man arrived. He introduced himself as the chief of a psychiatric clinic. One of our birds flew away last night, he said. I believe he is here. Yes, Poirot replied. But unfortunately, he is dead. The man didn't seem sad or worried at all. I see, he said. Well, maybe it's better this way. After all, he was crazy. Kept talking about some secret societies in China all the time. Anyway, I'll send someone for the body. Goodbye, gentlemen. Then Inspector Japp arrived. Poirot showed him the body, and he recognized the dead man immediately. He is Mayerling, from the Secret Service, he said. They sent him to Russia for some important mission 5 years ago. I thought he died there. Poirot looked at the body and exclaimed, There are marks on his face. Someone closed his mouth with something. Then they put prussic acid under his nose and poisoned him. Then he caught me by the arm and led me to the clock. Look, Hastings, it stopped at 4. What does it mean? Perhaps it just stopped working, I suggested. No, let's use our little gray cells for once, Poirot said. Imagine you are Mayerling. You know that you will die soon. You have very little time. In fact, you only have time to leave a message. 4 o'clock, number 4, the destroyer. With these words, he rushed to the telephone. He called the psychiatric clinic. Hello. Tell me, did one of your patients run away last night? What? Can you repeat that? Oh, I see. That's just perfect, thank you. He hung up the telephone and turned to me, looking excited. No one ran away from the clinic yesterday, he said. So, the man who came here recently, was he the destroyer? I guessed. Then we'll know him if we meet him again. I remembered his face very well. I don't think he'll look the same, my friend, Poirot replied. Maybe he'll have hair of a different color, or a beard, or false teeth. In fact, I'm pretty sure he is a great actor. But we are going to find him in the end. We'll beat the Big Four and catch all of them. 3. Several days later, Inspector Japp visited us. He came with a tall, respectable man. The man was Captain Kent of the U.S. Secret Service. I know that Mr. Poirot is interested in the case of the Big Four, Japp said. Recently, Captain Kent came to me with a rather strange story. So I decided that I must let Mr. Poirot know about it. I've heard about your successful detective work, Mr. Poirot, the captain began, and I would like to discuss an important matter with you. Perhaps you've heard that a number of military ships sank in U.S. waters recently. People believe that they were caught in a storm. But not so long ago, we found some interesting papers. It turned out that an organization called the Big Four had a certain machine. This machine can accumulate a lot of energy and then shoot it at a certain object. I know it sounds stupid, but recently, an English scientist reported that it was actually possible. He said that he was very close to inventing a similar machine. His name is Halliday. I've come to England to have an interview with him. And how did it go? Poirot asked. Mr. Halliday and I never met, the captain replied. The thing is, he disappeared in Paris 2 months ago. His wife reported his disappearance to us some time ago. Tell me, Mr. Poirot, what do you know about the Big Four? It's an international criminal organization, Poirot answered. They have a Chinaman, an American, a Frenchwoman, and a certain destroyer, probably an Englishman. A Frenchwoman? The captain asked in surprise. But Halliday disappeared in Paris. Could that be connected to the case? Perhaps. And what about sinking boats? Why do they do that? The captain asked. The Big Four work for themselves, Poirot explained. Their only goal is world domination. The captain burst out laughing. I'm serious, monsieur, Poirot said. These people destroyed many of your ships only to try out their power. Then Poirot asked Inspector Japp for the address of Mrs. Halliday. The following day, we went to visit her. My husband arrived in Paris on the 20th of July, she told us. He was going to meet with different scientists there, among them the famous Madame Olivier. Of course, we all knew that name. Madame Olivier was the greatest chemist in France. He checked in at the hotel and went to visit Madame Olivier at her house in the evening, Mrs. Halliday went on. He returned to the hotel at around 11 p.m. Early in the morning, before breakfast, he went out again, and nobody has seen him ever since. Poirot said. Clearly something happened that night and changed your husband's plans. Anyway, to solve this puzzle, we must go to Paris right now. 4. We arrived in Paris and went to Madame Olivier's country house in Passy. She was a very tall woman with a long white face and very dark eyes. They burned strangely when she looked at you. We talked to her about Mr. Halliday. Madame, did he talk to you about a certain machine that can shoot energy? Poirot asked her. She gave him a surprised look, then replied, Yes, and I find it very possible to create. Although it's not quite my field of research, I deal with the thing known as radium-C. Then she showed us her laboratory, and we left. As we were coming out of the front door, a woman in black clothes entered it. She ran past us without even looking at us. What a strange woman, Poirot noted. She entered with a key, which means that she lives here. Probably she is Madame Olivier's assistant. A woman enters her home and doesn't even look at her guests? My friend, watch out! He caught me by the arm and pulled me to the side. The next moment, a tree fell on the sidewalk next to us. It nearly hit us. Suddenly, Poirot exclaimed, That's it! I know how Mr. Halliday disappeared. I looked at him in surprise. As he was coming back from this house that night, the woman in black ran up to him. She asked him to go back because there was something else Madame Olivier wanted to discuss with him. Do you see that little house over there? This is where the woman took him. It could be an ambush. Some people appeared, caught Mr. Halliday, and took him to that strange house. He can still be there and alive. We must go and check it. But first, let's return to Madame Olivier's house. I want to talk to that woman in black. We came back to the house and asked a servant to call Madame Olivier's assistant. As soon as she came down the stairs and looked at us, I recognized her. She was Countess Rossakoff. She was involved in a robbery that Poirot and I once investigated in London. You drove me out of London. Now you want to drive me out of Paris, I suppose? Not exactly. I want you to go to the house next door with us and set Mr. Halliday free, Poirot replied. The woman's face turned white. As you can see, I know everything, Poirot continued. By the way, are the Big Four your masters? Instead of answering the question, she said quietly, Will you allow me to make a telephone call? She walked up to the telephone and dialed a number. Yes, it's me. The little Belgian detective knows everything. Send Halliday to the hotel and leave immediately. She hung up the telephone and turned to us. Your friend is not in the house next door, but he will soon be back in his hotel, she said. Let's make a deal. You will not arrest me, and I will let Halliday go, alive and well. All right, Poirot replied with a smile. Then we went to the hotel. Mr. Halliday was already there. He looked tired and very scared. Mr. Halliday, Poirot said, please tell us what happened to you. It's very important. What did the Big Four do to you? I don't remember, the man said. What? I cried in surprise. That's impossible. No, he said quietly. You don't understand. They are awful people. But as long as I keep quiet, I am safe. And if I say one word, they will kill everyone I love, and then they will kill me. So I don't remember anything. Oh, I'm so tired. I just want to see my wife again. There wasn't much we could do, so we just let him go. When we were alone, Poirot said, In the end, we learned nothing. The Big Four won another round. 5. The next morning, we received a letter from Madame Olivier. She wanted to see us, and we went to her house right away. When we sat down in the living room together, she said, "Monsieur Poirot, I must ask for your help. Yesterday, somebody broke into my laboratory and stole important papers. They wanted to steal something else, but fortunately, they couldn't open the safe." "What was it?" Poirot asked. "Is it expensive?" "Very expensive," she replied. "Radium. It's important for my future experiments." "All right," Poirot said. "For now, go to sleep and don't worry. I'll save that radium for you." When we left the house, Poirot said, "And now, my friend, we're leaving for England." "What?" I cried. "But the radium—" "Somebody is watching us," Poirot said. "We must make them believe that we're gone. However, we won't travel all the way to England. We will get off the train near Paris." So we took the train to England and got off in a town a few kilometers away from Paris. Then we changed into some dirty clothes and made ourselves look like two homeless men. Now we were sure that nobody was following us. Then we returned to Madame Olivier's house. We walked in through the garden gate. Suddenly, somebody caught us and pushed us to the ground. Then they picked us up and carried us toward Madame Olivier's house. They brought us into the laboratory and opened the safe. Actually, it wasn't a real safe. Behind its door there were steps that led down under the floor. The men carried us down and tied us to chairs. I saw a tall woman standing in the center of the underground room. She was wearing a black velvet mask. "She must be number 3, the French woman," I thought. The woman sent the men away, walked up to us, and took off her mask. I couldn't believe my eyes. She was Madame Olivier. "Well, well, Monsieur Poirot," she said, her dark eyes burning wildly. "If you think that you can get in our way, then you are wrong. Now you must die. Do you have a last wish?" "Yes, madame," he replied with a smile. "A man is allowed one last smoke before his death, right? There is a pack of cigarettes in my pocket. Would you be so kind?" Madame Olivier laughed and reached into his pocket. She took a cigarette from the pack and put it in his mouth. Then she turned around and started walking away. Suddenly, Poirot said in a calm voice, "Please, madame, don't move if you don't want to die. I'm sure you've heard of curare. It's a very strong poison. The Indians in South America use it for their arrows. Some of them use little blowpipes to shoot poison at their enemies. Those blowpipes look just like my cigarette. I only need to blow once and you will be dead. So please untie my friend Hastings right now." Madame Olivier gave him a hateful look. Then she untied me with shaking hands. "Great! Now, Hastings, will you please tie the madame with these ropes and set me free?" Poirot asked, smiling. I did as he said. Soon, Madame Olivier lay on the ground, with her hands tied behind her back. Poirot smiled at her and said, "Well, I hope you understand now that you can't kill me so easily. Good night." With these words, he walked up the stairs, and I followed him. 6. Soon after that, we left Paris and returned to London. We talked about the case of the Big Four all the time. Poirot thought that Mr. Abe Ryland, the man who tried to move Poirot to South America, could be number 2. After all, he was American and very rich. One day, Poirot went for a walk. When he returned, he looked very excited. "My friend," he said, "I've just learned that Mr. Ryland is in London. He rented a country house from some rich gentleman and plans to stay there for a while. He is looking for an English assistant. You should apply for the job and try to learn something about the Big Four." I wanted to help the case move forward, so I agreed. Mr. Ryland was impressed with my skills, so I got the job pretty easily.
Stay with us for part 2.
If you enjoy listening to our stories, hit the like button. This way we will know that you like the content we share with you. And now, here's another audiobook in English for you.